Hey everybody, today we are going to make this part in Fusion 360. It kind of looks like a top, but it's not so pointy at the bottom, and it has a square handle. The tool we're going to use today is called the Revolve tool, and it does kind of like what it says it does. It revolves around an axis. So it's like extruding, except it's going to create round features. Um, when you look at something like this, you think, well, what's a cylinder? So we can just create a circle and extrude up the circle into a cylinder and then do the rest of the details like this square part here. But that's not exactly true because of this notch right here. The easiest way to make this part is, in fact, the revolve tool and not a cylinder because of this 30-degree angle. And the way we need to make this in a sketch is by cutting it in half on the vertical axis right here. So we're going to make half of this circle, and then we're going to revolve it around a central axis. So I'm going to pop over to Fusion 360 and try and remember some of these details. So this is going to be in millimeters, and it appears to be 40 inches in, or 40 millimeters in diameter. So we need to make our first sketch. I'm going to choose this plane here because I find it the most reasonable, and I'm going to make a rectangle. Regular 2-point rectangle. I'm going to start it at the origin and go up and over. Because it's 40 millimeters in diameter, we want to use the radius, therefore it's going to be 20 millimeters from the center. And I don't remember how tall it is. It is 30 millimeters tall. So I'm going to go 30 up, hit tab, 30. Now I have this rectangle. Pretty fine so far. And I'm going to zoom in right here because on this side, I want to create a 30-degree notch right here. From the details, it doesn't tell us a whole heap about it, but we do know that it is 5 millimeters in from the center, or from the outside rather, and then there's a 30-degree cut. It doesn't tell us how high up that is, which is okay. So I'm going to start, I could start a line right here, but instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down a point. Points are a really nice way to start something from a specific location in space and time. So I'm going to put it right there, just on that vertical, horizontal axis. I'm going to therefore dimension it. I can move that point away from this corner. I want it to be exactly 5. It already is 5. How convenient. So now I have a point right there. And from that point, I can draw a line. And it doesn't tell me how many, it tells you how many degrees right there we're moving from. And so if I don't want to change the length necessarily, I do want to, however, change the degrees, the angle. So I'm going to hit tab, so it's going to move over to the other dimension. So I'm going to hit 30, and it moves the line down, and I hit enter, and now I have a 30-degree cut that starts from 5 millimeters in. I'm going to trim these other 2 bits right here. Bye-bye. Those are gone. And now I'm going to finish my sketch. It doesn't look like much at the moment. It just looks like a rectangle with a notch cut out of it, and that's fine. There's another knob there. I hope that doesn't make a problem. I should have trimmed it better. So I'm going to use the Revolve tool, which is right here next to extrude. It's up here like it's used often. I don't use it all that often, but it is a pretty useful tool when you need it. I'm going to click on our surface, what we want to revolve, and then we have to choose the axis by which we want to revolve it. I'm going to choose the vertical side right here. We could revolve this one if we wanted to. Heck, we could revolve this one here, but we don't want to use any of those. We want to use this inside um, vertical axis. I click on it right there, and then our new shape appears. It looks like a cylinder, but you'll see that there's a notch down there. Click OK, and hold down the Shift key and hold down the scroll wheel on my mouse, and we can orbit and see what we have just made. How cool is that? Neat. Rehome on the view cube. The other two features here are this square handle that comes out the top. And down here, there looks like this radius. And this looks like it's going to be really hard to make, but there is a tool in Fusion 360 to help us make this curvy bit right there. The handle is 15 millimeters up, and it is 10 millimeters square. So go back to Fusion 360. I'm going to make a sketch right on the top here. And since it's square, we can use the rectangle, but I don't want to use a 2-point rectangle because centering it is going to be hard. I'm going to use instead a 3-point, a center rectangle right here. When you use a center rectangle, you click on where the center of the rectangle should be. When you pull your mouse out, it moves the sides in equal dimensions from the center, which is pretty cool. So I need to add my 2 dimensions. It needs to be 10, tab, 10, and hit enter, and now I have a square sketched on the surface of my cylinder. I'm going to hit finish sketch, and now I want to extrude this up 15. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to go up 15, hit enter, and now I have our handle. Pretty cool. Looking all right. The last feature is this rounded piece right here, and it's called a fillet. It's spelled fillet, but it's actually pronounced fillet. You see that the radius of the fillet is 5 millimeters. So go back to Fusion 360, and now we're going to choose the fillet tool, which is in the modify list. It's right here. See, it says fillet, but it actually means fillet. I'm going to click on that. And now I want to click on all the parts that I want to fillet. So it's a little challenging to a certain extent, but you're going to go around and you're going to click on each of these lines. And if you have to, you can revolve around it to choose each of them. You can choose more than one at a time, which is very nice. So now I've chosen those 4 sides, and I'm going to type in 5 to do our rounded edge, and there we have it, a rounded 5 millimeter radius fillet. And that is our weird revolved top doodad. Put this into a dimensioned drawing and submit this on Blend. Good job.